When you understand the subconscious mind, everything will begin to change because you're going to start to use it properly. The subconscious mind consists of a field of consciousness in which every impulse of thought that reaches the objective mind through any of the five senses is classified and recorded, and from which thoughts may be recalled or withdrawn as letters may be taken from a filing cabinet. The Power of the Subconscious Mind. That's a book written by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And I honestly believe any library is incomplete if it doesn't have that book. It's one of the best books on the subconscious mind I ever read. But you know, even after reading it, and you gather a lot of information, an awful lot of people do not understand it. It's been said by countless authors. If you go to the actuarial department of any insurance company, they'll tell you very small percentage of the population end up financially well off. Less than 5%. Think. 90% of our population are struggling all the way through life. And there's no need of it. When you understand the subconscious mind, everything will begin to change because you're going to start to use it properly. Most people are not using it properly. They are using it, everyone uses it, but if you don't use it right, you're toast. It's all over. When you do use it properly, I'm going to tell you, you're going to stand out like a giraffe in a herd of field mice. You're going to be such a winner. You see, the subconscious mind is in every molecule of your being. Think about that. And you, the conscious part of you, your conscious mind dictates what you're going to turn over to it. There's a critical part you want to understand about the mind. First of all, the conscious mind can only entertain one idea at a time. Try and entertain two, you got confusion. All ideas must come from the conscious to get to the subconscious. You cannot go to the subconscious mind any other way but through the conscious mind. So you can't be entertaining positive and negative emotions at the same time. It's one or the other. Make certain you make the right choice, because nothing gets to the subconscious mind without passing your approval. Now, you may give it approval unconsciously. Most people do. That's where the paradigm comes into play. The paradigm, you remember, I talked about it a number of times. The paradigm is that program that's in our subconscious mind that has been put there by someone else, and it's controlling our life. Almost all of our behavior has been controlled by our paradigm. All of our habitual behavior is controlled by our paradigm. Here's another beautiful truth. There are no toll gates between the finite mind of man and infinite intelligence. And that's what you're dealing with when you're talking about the conscious and the subconscious. The subconscious mind is infinite intelligence. That's where everything is. The conscious mind can go there free. Free will. You've heard free will and predestination? There you are. The free will comes from your choice. The predestination, when you put it in, that's it. The subconscious will take it and immediately begin to move it into form. Do you know the manner by which you work with your subconscious mind is very similar to radios, the way a radio works, the vibrations of radio. Do you know right now there's music playing in the room you're in? You may not hear it, but it's there. It's being broadcast in by a radio station. But your ears are not functioning on the frequency that the radio station is broadcasting on. Think about it. What happens is you turn your radio on, they pick up that vibration, they speed it up, and it put it out on the frequency your ears are operating on. Well, what we want to do is understand our mind works exactly the same way. It works through vibration. It works on frequencies. And what we want to do is move ourselves onto a higher frequency, and we can do that through the proper choice of thoughts and then turning it over to the infinite mind, to infinite intelligence, which is the subconscious, which is in every cell of your being. And like that, you'll move on to a higher frequency of thought. You want to get up where the high octane energy is there. The sound is crisper. The feeling's better. Lots of prosperity. Quit struggling. Move on up where you belong, highest form of existence. I want you to really think about your life. Look at the various aspects of your life. Look at the financial aspect of your life. How about time? Most people will tell you they don't have the time and they don't have the money to do the things they really want to do. I have people look at programs that we create that would literally liberate them, would give them the life they want. They say they don't have the time to watch it and they don't have the funds to pay for it. The truth is they're going to spend the time and the money anyway. And what are they spending it on? They're spending it on the continuous expression of a paradigm that was built by someone else that's controlling their life. They're not creating the relationships they want. They're not living in the healthy body that they want. They don't take the vacations they want or buy the homes they want or the cars they want. Part of the paradigm is that we should save. So people are working in jobs that pay a small amount of money and they're squirreling a little bit of that away to save, thinking maybe they'll invest. They never really make it. They don't really understand that through the proper use of their subconscious mind, they could set up multiple sources of income. They could be earning money while they're sleeping. May sound strange, but you could actually earn more money when you're sleeping than you would spend when you're awake. See, most of these ideas are just so absurd to the average mind. You know why? Because these ideas I'm giving you are not part of the paradigm. The paradigm, remember, it's like any program that you put in your computer, you put it in your biocomputer. It came with you as standard equipment at birth through genetic conditioning, just moving down through the genes. I've already pointed out that we're the confluence of a genetic pool that goes back for many generations. And much of what we bought into, that we're a part of, is ridiculous. You see, you have within you all the power that you'll ever need to do anything that you can imagine. Now that's a pretty big statement, but it's the truth. And all the great books and all the great teachers have taught us that. So what do we want to know about the subconscious mind? Well, it is totally deductive. It's amoral. It can only accept, it cannot reject. It will take anything you give to it. It's like the earth. But whatever you give to it, it will return to you, because that's the way it works. It has no ability to reject anything. It accepts everything. It doesn't differentiate between the good or the bad. It doesn't differentiate between what's big and what's small. So if you're looking at something you're thinking, oh, that's expensive, that's the way it is. If you're looking at something and say, that would be a great buy, that's the way it is. If you're looking at something and you say, that'd be really hard to do, that's the way it'll be. If you're looking at something and say, I could do that, that's the way it'll be. Why is it that we look at things we don't know how to do and say it'd be hard to do? Do you think it'd be hard to learn Chinese if you were born in an English home? Most English-speaking people would say yes. Little Chinese girls and boys don't think it's hard at all. They just up and do it and become very fluent. You see, it's what we turn over to our subconscious mind. It's that inner talk. It's the thoughts that we're thinking. That's what's creating our reality. Now think about this for a moment. You have a power within you. It's in every molecule of your being that's totally subjective. If you're a psych major, you'd say it's totally deductive. Call it whatever you want. It will accept anything you give to it, and it accepts it as real. It could be so far from your reality that it would be ridiculous. It'll turn it into reality for you. How about the image that you're holding of yourself? How about the self-talk about, can I do this or can I do that? You know, I knew an awful lot of this material. I'd studied it for years. And I'd sit down and explain it to you one-on-one. But I couldn't stand up in a group and explain it. I was very shy. Part of my paradigm. And one day I was in a meeting in the O'Hare Hyatt Hotel. Bill Gove, who was one of the greatest speakers in the world, he's gone now, God bless him, he was a great guy. He was speaking to an audience of 1,000 people. There was an aisle down the center, there'd be 500 people here and about 500 over here. I was standing at the back watching him. He was such a professional. He waltzed that audience all over the place in the palm of his hand. And he was standing holding a handheld mic, and he was just by the front corner of this bank of people. And he had his hand up, and he's saying, if I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me I think you think I should be. Not the me I think my wife thinks I should be. Not the me I think my kids think I should be. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. And I'm watching and I thought, this guy's so good. If only I could do that. But immediately, I knew I couldn't. Now let me digress. Earl Nightingale made a recording on the magic word, attitude. I probably listened to that 1,000 times. And I'm not exaggerating. I still listen to it on a record. And then he said, now right here we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the things we can do, the goals we can accomplish, and for some equally strange reason, we think other people can do things that we cannot. He says, I want you to understand that's not true. That you have deep reservoirs of talent and ability within you that you can bring to the surface. Now let's go back to Bill Gove. Saying, if I want to be free, and I'm watching and I'm thinking, the guy is so good. And all of a sudden, bang, that record started to play in my head. I could hear Earl saying, now right here, we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize the things. I thought, that's what I'm doing. Now, if you played that and said, did you understand that? I'd say, of course I understood it. I listened to it 1,000 times. I didn't understand it at all. It was just a voice saying something. I didn't relate to it. I thought, that's what he means. If Gove can do it, Bob can do it. So I not only made up my mind I would learn to speak in public, I was going to get him to teach me, and I didn't even know him. Bill Gove and I became great friends. As a matter of fact, the last speech he gave at one of the programs I was running. He was a phenomenal teacher. Now here's another interesting part of that. I don't speak anything like Bill Gove spoke, but he taught me to speak. What he really taught me was how to feel comfortable in front of an audience. I've been in front of an audience, 20,000 people, 20 people. One's the same as the next to me, because I'm always just talking to you, just one person. But you see, I'd been feeding my subconscious mind, I couldn't speak in public. The truth is I could. It was what I was feeding my subconscious mind. And because that's what I was feeding my subconscious mind, that was my results. I'm going to tell you something. If you take a look at your results, take a look at all the results in your life, they're nothing but an expression of some idea, some belief pattern that you have put, and you've put it there in your subconscious. Somebody else may put it there, you've left it there. If you analyze your results and analyze the cause is always in the subconscious mind. It may have come down through some genetic pool. It may have been from when you were a child and the way you were raised. They may be responsible for making you who you are, but you are definitely responsible for changing it. You cannot give that responsibility to anybody else. And if you do, it's all over because they're not going to change it. They can't. Nor can you change anyone else. So thinking you can change somebody else, it's a fool's game. The only person that can change you is you. And if you're going to change you, you start at the cause of the situation. And that's in your own subconscious mind. But understand this, it's in every cell of your being. It'll accept anything you give it. There's no judgment. It can't separate good from bad, big from small, rich from poor. Can't separate hard from easy. It's whatever you give to it. Don't say something's difficult just because you don't know how to do it. Just say, I don't understand how to do that. Then you ask yourself, do I want to do that? If you don't want to, fine, let it go. If you do want to, go to someone that really understands. Listen to them. Listen to understand. Don't listen just to hear. Listen to understand what they're saying. And then start feeding it into your subconscious. You see yourself doing it. Now I keep pointing like this because I see my head as my mind. That's not the way it is, but I see it. Top half of my conscious mind, bottom half is my subconscious. So I know it's my conscious mind that's feeding my subconscious mind all the time. Read good information. Read it often. Dwell on it. Sink it into your mind. And understand this. There's a part of you that is totally subjective. It has absolutely no ability to reject. And it's called your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind will accept whatever you give to it and immediately turn it into results. I quoted Andrew Carnegie in a previous recording. I'm going to quote him again because it fits here so well. He said, any idea that is held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. If you are worried, if you are full of fear, you're giving that over to your subconscious mind. You are actually causing it to happen. Whatever you put in causes the energy to move into form. In all the universe, energy moves into form, through form, and back into form. So important we understand this. But he said, any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that you're focused on, that you keep feeding, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself. Do you know most people live in fear of lack and limitation? They're afraid they're not going to have enough when they get older. They're afraid they're not going to stay healthy. They're afraid the car isn't going to keep running. They're afraid they're going to run out of gas. You can boil it down to some simple thing like running out of gas. If that's what you're afraid of, that's what you're going to attract. It just happens. It's part of the universal laws. It's part of the law of your being. The subconscious mind. Dig into this. Study it. Get into the subject of the subconscious mind in Think and Grow Rich book. Read the chapter every day for a month. Read it with someone. They don't have to be with you. They could be on the other end of the phone. I do this all the time. I read the same thing over and over, sometimes for 6 months. I read the same article over and over for a year with Sandy Gallagher one time, my business partner, because it was such an important subject. I would read 10, 20, 30 lines, then I'll say pass, and she'd pick it up and start reading. And when you read like that with the person, then the person's getting it twice, because they're hearing you and they're reading it mentally. Then they read 10 or 20 or 30 lines and they say pass, and you pick it up. You got to keep reading, pick it up at the same place. See, it's the repetition of reading and imaging that changes the programming. And you can become programmed to the point where you almost automatically reject anything that you don't want in your conscious level, and it never reaches your subconscious mind. So it never has any material effect on your body or your results. It's a very important part of your personality. I can see why it's one of the 13 principles that all wealthy people have used to create wealth, because it's in there where it all starts. That's where the desire is. The desire is the idea you fall in love with. It's inside. It's cooking inside. It's idea. It just keeps beating in our mind. It's the effort of the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without through your action. That's how the subconscious works. It's in every cell of your being. You know, if you really understood it, or when you really start to understand it, you'll probably be much like me. I just kept wandering around saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I didn't even know what I was thinking, but I just felt so grateful that I started to understand this, because I was changing my life, and I could see how I had been feeding my life with bad information for the first 26 years. I never expected anything good. I never thought anything good could happen to me. I really thought other people were different. I thought that, I don't know what I thought. I just thought there wasn't much to me. When I started to realize I was one of the greatest creations on the planet, my whole life started to change. When I started to feed my subconscious mind with that, everything changed. And you know something? It will with you. The power of your subconscious mind. Remember we said it was about you? It's all about you. Get to the point where you can kiss yourself. You're that good. You're worth it. Don't ask if you're worthy of the goal. Ask if the goal is worthy of you, because you're trading your life for whatever it is you're going after. I wouldn't trade my life for a car or for a house, but I trade my life for what I'm going after. Make sure you're making a good trade. It's your life. It's about you.
There is plenty of evidence to support the belief that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite minds of humans and infinite intelligence. Get out your notebook. Write subconscious mind in capitals at the top of the page. And then I'm going to use this principle in the following way. And then finish that sentence in your notebook. Don't overthink it. Just tune into your own powerful intuition and record on paper what comes to you. Do it now.